Hey guys, I got a new video for you today, and we're going to be looking at a new EDC tool that I was sent for review purposes. I was contacted by this company and asked if I would be interested in checking out the Quark tool. They guaranteed that it was going to be a great addition to my EDC, specifically if I was going to be carrying it on my keys. Now the Quark tool is basically a very thin and light box cutter or utility knife, depending on how you call it, that it goes on your keys, or you can just throw it into your pocket. Now it's great because of its thin form factor. You barely feel it, especially if you have it hanging from your keys. But it's good because you always have it with you, especially if you're the type of person that either uses a box cutter at work, or maybe you carry it as a secondary option to your primary EDC knife. That way, if you're opening up a lot of boxes or mail, maybe with some packing tape or glue, you're not going to get your primary knife all gunked up. Now, I like the fact that it is very thin. I've used a couple of box cutters in the past in that purpose, maybe as a secondary blade or something like that. And my main concern was always that it was too bulky, and I just figured if I'm going to have something big, I might as well just carry my EDC knife and just clean it up. So I have been carrying the Quark tool for a couple of weeks now, and I found it to be very easy to use. Again, it's more of a light duty usage tool because of its size and the construction. So it's not going to replace like a heavy duty utility knife, but basically for what I was using it for, which is again opening up packages, mail, things like that, cutting zip ties maybe, it definitely did a great job. And the beauty of it is that it uses standard utility knife blades, so you can buy a pack of those very cheap. It comes like 5 or something like that for a little amount of money, and then when they get dull, you can just throw them out and not have to worry about sharpening them. So this is one that they sent, and it actually has a heavy duty blade in it. I left it in the packaging so you guys can see what it looks like when it gets to you. And they actually sent out another one that I've opened up, and this is the one that I've actually been carrying around with me. This one just has a standard blade, and as you guys can see, it's got a little rust on it because just from sweat and stuff like that sitting in my pocket. I didn't put it on my keychain, and there was a purpose for that. I wanted to use it more, you know, just whenever I felt the need to use it. And I thought that if it was hanging from my keys, I wouldn't use it as much because maybe I just felt it to be too bulky. So for usage purposes, I left it off my keys, but I could easily see myself throwing this on my keys with maybe like a small S-beaner or something like that, something that I can quickly detach it from my keys to use it. So again, as you guys can see, it is very small. It fits right here in the palm of my hands, and it is very, very thin. Their literature says that it's roughly the size of 2 credit cards or maybe 1 house key as far as the width of the Quark tool itself. But I can tell you that it is very, very thin, very minimal in design. It's actually stainless steel, which it's great construction, so it doesn't feel flimsy or anything like that. And it's just basically the size of the standard utility blade in there. So I like the fact that it uses those utility blades because, again, I'm not the best at sharpening knives. So if I don't have to worry about sharpening it, I can use one side of it for a while, and then when it gets done, I just flip it around, use the other side, and then when both sides get dull, I can just throw it out and replace it with a new one. And again, I found that like the multi-pack of the utility blades are pretty cheap. You can buy them like packs of 5s or something like that, and it uses pretty much any standard size utility blade out there, so you don't have to buy a specific brand or anything like that. Now, as I showed you already, the other one does have a heavy duty blade inside of it. I haven't used it yet, but I'm assuming that it's just maybe a tad bit thicker material than your standard ones there. But again, just wanted to give you a quick look at it. It just has a little bit of what I'm going to call jimping right on the top there and on the bottom here, and that's going to help you when you're actually using it. But I'll show you guys how this works. So basically, it has this little locking arm right here, and as you guys can see, it has a little indentation there. Now that's actually designed so that it goes into either one of the 2 stops on the blade there, so depending on how much of the blade you want it to come out. So all you have to do is just lift it and slide the blade out, and then it locks on that first one. So you have pretty much that amount of the blade sticking out to be able to use, and then you can just actually just put your finger right on top and use it to cut, open up boxes and stuff like that. Again, if you want to grab it on both sides to tear through zip ties and things like that, you can do that as well. And if you want a little bit more of the blade to come out, just lift it up a little more and just slide the blade out. Again, it's got a little rust on it because I have been using it, and now you have the second stop of the blade there, and a little bit more of the blade for deeper cuts and things like that. And then once you're done, all you have to do is, again, pinch on either side of the locking arm there and lift it up as you slide the blade back inside, and it slides right in there. Now what I do like is that there is a little bit of blade play, obviously, but the blade doesn't play enough to where it comes out of the front, so you're not going to have to worry about it coming loose or anything like that in your pocket if you're not carrying it in your keychain or whatnot, and stabbing you in the leg or anything like that. That was one of my first concerns, and I definitely didn't have to worry about that right off the bat. So what I'm going to do now is just I just got a little envelope here. I'll just show you guys how that works. Just take out a little bit of the blade, that first stop. Double this over so I don't cut through the desk, and then all you do is just, and again, it is a utility knife or a box cutter, so depending on how sharp the blade is, and for the most part these blades tend to be rather sharp for quite some time, you can definitely get some really good cutting out of it. And again, if you want to use it for boxes, I have a box here. So you guys, just a standard box here. Again, just right in there. You can, if you need to open up packages or anything like that, get a lot of cutting done. And as you guys can see, it definitely handles the box very, very well. So for the most part, for any light to medium tasks, I think the Quark tool is going to be a great addition, especially because it is so thin. So it has a little hole right there. You can actually, like I said, put a split ring on there. If you don't want to put it on your keychains, maybe you want to throw some paracord on there just to give you a little bit more to hang on to or something like that. You can easily do that and carry this around with you. Now, they did mention in the literature also is if you want to fly with it, all you have to do is just kind of throw the blade out when you get to wherever you're going. Just again, buy the blades, they're very, very cheap, and then just throw it in there, and now you have your Quark tool ready to go with you wherever you go as well. So I think for the most part, if you're looking for a secondary blade, maybe something very thin that you can hang off your keychains or something like that to kind of help you not get your primary knife all gunked up or anything like that, this is going to be a great addition. I'm going to leave a link below to their site if you guys are interested in checking them out, maybe picking one up for yourself. Again, if you're into knives, into blades, or maybe you use one at work, I would definitely recommend picking one of these up and just giving it a try yourself. So there it is. This is the Quark tool. Let me know if you guys have any questions. Thanks.